First and foremost, all of you amazing women, wow, I am so empowered, inspired by all of you. The reason why you're in this room is because you actually want to up-level your business. Whether your business is your own or you work for somebody, even if you're retired, you really want to up-level your own personal experience on this planet. And so many people don't understand why women don't want to just have a job to make money, right? All of us can make money, but we really want to aspire to do something more, to give to our clients, to give to ourselves, to give to our families, to really up-level ourselves. So we're in a world that it's so powerful right now about women wanting to rise. And as women rise, we want other women to rise. It's very, very unique where if you're in that linear masculine situation, they're not so much wanting to lift others up. You'll see it in corporations where if you rise the corporate ladder, you're not seeing other men wanting to lift other men up that corporate ladder. That's not always, but it's been my experience. I've been in Fortune 200 companies where I was one of only women in the sales force. And it was interesting how many people don't want to bring others along. But we as women, we really do. So I am Molly Whalen. I do own 2 companies. I own Synergy Growth Coach. It's a business and life coach. It's my true passion. I also own Mountain Maids of Montana. We have another cleaning company in the room. I love that. So it's a residential company. I've owned it for almost 2 decades. And then I've had all kinds of speaking engagements. Just want to let you know who I am and why I'm presenting to you today. Case study. This is Mountain Maids, and we're going to talk about it, and I'll talk about it throughout the presentation. But just to give you a little bit of history, it started in 2007. I bought it with a business partner. It was doing about $70,000 a year. We expanded it to $500,000 in our first year. So was there a lot of pain, lots of pain for exponential growth and rapid growth? We experienced all kinds of things from employee turnover. We didn't have a corporate culture. I didn't have an employee handbook. I didn't know what I was doing. Yes, me. I had no idea, but I faked it till I made it, right? And I went through a lot of painful experiences. If I knew what I knew now, I hopefully wouldn't have had to go through so much pain to get where I am today. But we did experience, 2010, the housing crisis. Overnight, I lost $100,000 in business. That was an incredible point in Mountain Maids history to rediscover, revamp, reorganize the company. Then we went into the pandemic. That was fun. So it was talking about shuttering businesses in place, right? I lost 40% of my business, again, overnight. And there were so many cleaning companies that just went out of business. They shut their doors. They didn't try to figure out a different way. They didn't try to course correct. They didn't want to think outside of the box. And it was really painful for a lot of them because then when they got back into the business after the pandemic was lifting, they're finding themselves back at square one. We persevered, moved through it. I had employees with eyes this big, worried about how they were going to pay for rent, how they were going to pay for food, whether they were going to have a job. So it was really important to have that leadership to drive and say, even though I didn't know, I know during the pandemic, I don't know if many of you as business owners, I mean, I was in tears. I'm like, how am I going to make this work? But I knew well enough that if I showed up in that fear-based mode with my employees, they would all run for the hills. So it was really important to put a stake in the ground and say, I'm in it with you. From there, I decided to shift a lot. I wanted to shift again. I had been working 7 days a week for 15 years. Yes, 15 years. Monday through Sunday. How many business owners can raise their hands that they feel like they are working 60 hours a week? I see people waving in the back. 60 hours a week, every day, waking up. And even if you're not working, you're thinking about work, right? It's this app that's going on in your back of your mind. Well, I shifted from 7 days to 5 days, and let me tell you, it was the most glorious thing on the planet, because I had my Saturdays and Sundays where I didn't have employees calling out. I didn't have cleaning employees stuck in a ditch, which I have a lot. Anyway, so I didn't have any of that, and I had my weekends back to myself, and guess what? Sales increased. I walked away from doing VRBOs. It was interesting to have that mind shift, because I was like, oh no, I have to keep everybody. Everybody's my client. I want all the business in the world. Shifted, sales increased. Wow, interesting. 2023 hit over $1 million. And what was really interesting in 2023 is I got more and more out of my business, and the business thrived. So what's that say? So it tells you if you have the right people in place, doing the right, and you have the right systems in place, you don't have to be in your business anymore. You can work on your business, and your business can grow. So there was some key exponential growth, so I'll let you read through those. Painful processes. How many of us have read every book? I have them all here. Good Boss, Bad Boss, Leadership, Ideal Team Player. I have them all. I have libraries of business books. And then I also hired a coach, paid $20,000. That was a lot for me to come in and be like, what's going on, right? I'm doing all this myself. I'm stressed out. I'm working 60 hours a week. I really need help. Business coach was great. She was great in the way that she really helped me with systems and operating systems. What she wasn't great about is my missing and painful gaps, and I had them. Safety was a big one for me. There's 21 barriers for women that struggle to be seen, and safety is one of them. I'll get into the top 3, but it wasn't safe for me to fail. So I did everything in my power to not fail, and having to do it alone, and also the sense of not being good enough, right? I had employees leaving. I'm like, I'm the best boss ever. I have this great book, Good Boss, Bad Boss. I'm following it, and I still have employees leaving me, right? So employee retention, all of these things. Once I figured out, it was how I was showing up. And if I showed up resourced, and if I showed up as a leader, I was able to lead my employees. And all my employees, the number one thing I want for them is to move on from mountain maids. I am all about empowering women and the men that come to work for me. I don't want them to stay. I want them to move on. But because safety was such a big thing for me, I created such a safe environment for my employees. I created safety for them to grow and to expand and to try things. And if they failed, they weren't fired, right? I really worked with them to create that safe environment. Whatever you find is your number one barrier, it usually is your superpower. So we have the rise of women. Yay, all of us in here, right? We control $7 trillion in spending. Yes, ladies, we love to spend our money and we love to make it. We own over 12 million businesses that generate almost $2 trillion in sales. Welcome to the club, all of you. All right? We are the primary breadwinners in many households. We are graduating at higher numbers in college than men at this point. We're creating success at higher levels at every measure in leadership positions in corporations. And we comprise a majority of participants in self-development programs. Welcome, you all are here. Self-development and spiritual communities. Over the past 50 years, women in the West have become most autonomous, free, independent. We can marry who we want. Hey, that's great, right? We can get married or not get married. We can have children or not have children. We can do what we want to do. And in our lifetime, because we're living so long, we typically have 5 long-term relationships with others. 5. Right? It used to be just 1. Our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers would just have 1 relationship. We typically now have 5. We get to make those decisions for ourselves, but there's something that's happening for us women, right? We're experiencing agonizing, confusing gap between our daily lives and the aspirations we want to create. How many of us want a really true relationship and not just a warm body in our bed? Right? How many of us really want that deep connection with somebody? How many of us want to bring forth our dreams and aspirations and uplift people and not just make $1, right? So all these things, we're seeing this momentum of what we want, and there's this gap. And we're like, well, what we want is just out here. If I just get here, I'll get it. Right? So we're not associating, because we've been in this very masculine, very linear, here's a book, read it, study it, do it, you'll be successful. It's missing the key to it on what we are experiencing in our daily lives, what we want, right? Women are feeling the impulse to self-actualize. How fabulous is that, right? And we're becoming everything we want to be and using our gifts to uplift others around us. So what's going on, right? Why is this happening to us? Women have a new set of barriers that are internal, right? This is not something you can just pick up in a book and be like, I'm going to self-actualize and this is what's going on with me, right? I have imposter syndrome or self-sabotage, I have backsliding. Oh, let's see, page number 93 does not talk about backsliding. So what is going on? We're feeling overwhelmed and doing all of this on our own. So what's happening? There's 3 primary things that are happening for women, and it's shame-based fixed meaning. But what it basically is saying is women will make shame-based meanings 80% or higher more than men. Yay, aren't we lucky? So what we do is we will say, well, I need to market my business, but I'm not good at marketing. It's because of who I am, I can't market, right? I don't understand numbers. I don't understand spreadsheets. I'm not good at math. It's because of who I am that I can't figure this out. Men will say, I don't know spreadsheets, but I'm going to figure out how to do it, or I'm going to find the person that can tell me how to do it. Men make shame-based meetings 15% of the time versus us ladies. A mindset of scarcity and lack. I don't have enough time. Who has ever said that? I don't have enough time. I want to see those hands. I don't have enough time, right? Somebody who's waving again, right? I don't have enough money, right? I don't have the resources. I don't know who to go to. So these are mindsets of scarcity and lack. And we will shrink back because we don't know where to go for those resources. Isolation and disconnect. How many of us feel isolated and alone? We're in our business, we're solo entrepreneurs, or we're in a room full of people and nobody seems to understand what's going on for us. So the 3 big barriers that affect women the most is I'm alone. I've got to do it all by myself. There is nobody out there that can do what I do to make me successful. I'm invisible, right? Those of you that feel invisible, this is a big one. Your superpower is to make everybody else feel visible. When you'll see some of the future slides, you'll see where women say, I want my clients to be successful. I want my clients to feel beautiful. I want this for my clients. When I see that, we are tending to be invisible. We feel like people don't see us. We put ourselves out there. We're on social media. We send advertising out. Whatever we do, and nobody shows up, or very few show up, and we feel like failures. And we shrink into that invisibility. And so I'm going to help you to step into visibility And the third one, I'm not good enough. How many of us have ever said, I'm not good enough? I've said it, unfortunately. So why are these blocks happening to women? What is going on, right? We have the socialized mind where we are always looking to the outside world for validation. And when we're looking to everybody else to validate us, we are threatened by the disapproval of others. Right? So if I'm in my cleaning business and I send my team out and they do a crappy job, I'm like, oh my gosh, the client's calling me. It's because of me that this is, happening to me. Confidence gap shows that women need to be 85% sure of something before they speak up. 85% sure. Men, 15% sure. I mean, I'm not kidding. They see an advertisement that says, this job is for you, and it lists like 30 things that you have to qualify for. They see one of them, they're like, oh yeah, that job's for me. Women, they see 85 things, and they're like, I hit 75% of it, but I'm not gonna apply. With that confidence gap, I would like you all to do this. So look at the woman next to you. Okay, wherever you are, look at the woman next to you. How many of you can make sure she gets a raise from her boss? How many of you are confident that you could get the woman next to you a raise from their boss? You can see their powers, even if you don't know them. And you don't need to know them, right? I can get each one of you a job, right? But how many of you, raise your hand, will go in and ask for that raise for yourself? Good. I'm glad to see some hands. Many, but not as many as I'd like to see, right? So many of us will not have the confidence to go in and ask for that raise. Our expectations are only 50% of what a man's expectation is under the same scenario. And then we get into the power penalty. Yay, love this. Woman rises a corporate ladder. Why? Who's she sleeping with, right? Number one thing that a lot of people do, right? It's not very fair. As women rise, they feel more and more isolated, and they are judged harshly as being selfish, unlikable, and it limits our possibilities. Why do we struggle? We have limiting mindsets, limiting beliefs, missing skills and capacities, lack of clear path, lack of support. Any of you feel these that you're feeling with is why we're struggling? We talked about the fixed mindset and shame-based, and with growth, there is possibility. I asked a lot of you, and thank you so much. About half of you responded. What do you deeply yearn for? Look at these answers that we deeply yearn for. We want to make a bigger impact in this world. How many of us feel that? You really want to make that bigger impact in this world. How many yearn to make your clients' dream a reality, right? Clients that appreciate you, right? Making an income while making an impact. These are big, right? None of these are in a book on how to do it. Not one of them, right? What we deeply yearn for is so important to be able to share our gifts and feel that we're successful. And a lot of us, if we get these, we want to make money, don't get me wrong, but these are more important to us. Here are some current challenges that we're all facing in this room. And these challenges, I want to normalize them. I have worked with over 200 women. I have coached, I don't know how many employees, probably 10,000, no, I'm just kidding. Probably a couple hundred to 300 throughout the 2 decades. And I see this a lot, right? That these are the challenges that we're faced with. And stepping into those challenges, and this is really normal. Not getting enough work, zero in on my best client, making a living on doing what I love to do, right? Getting more clients, speaking clearly, fearlessly about what I have to offer. Wanting more meaningful conversations with our clients. How beautiful is that? What's the worst part? Right? These are the worst parts about not getting what we want and about the challenges that we see, right? A lot of this, burnt out, exhausted, less time with family. Worst part is seeing my competitors taking business from me that don't give what I can give. That's huge, right? Being able to share my offerings with the world, right? Beating myself up when I make a choice I don't really want. These are really painful, and I want you to know it's very normal, and I'm going to give you a way to get out of it. These are some of the things that you all expressed to me. Cost a lot financially. If I could have a better paying job, I could be earning at a level that is with my experience, right? Not getting what I want because I'm not focused enough. Worst part is feeling that everything falls on me. How many people feel that everything falls on me? My work, my kids, everything. Cost of advertising, this is huge. Somebody in here is spending more money on advertising than what they bring home. How painful is that? So, and it's frustrating when things don't work out. So many of us have done that, right? So I'm financially barely getting by right now, and it causes me to worry and consider to do something you don't want to do. Okay, this is big, right? I'm going to stand with you to recognize the leaders that you are, that you're going to make the game-changing initiatives that have a lasting impact on your organization or business. You've developed the ability to actively generate your own visibility in your relationships. If you all want to do this, step into your visibility in your relationships. Clearly articulate your ideas, thoughts, feelings, desires you need, and how to get people to invest in what you have to offer so that you can bring your vision forth in this world. These are my big, bold intentions for today. Isn't it true you don't want to just achieve success, that you want to cultivate that higher power to become more authentically confident, visible, to create loving, growth-oriented relationships? So who's ready to step into their power, right? All right, woo! All right, let's step into it. So first of all, I want some agreements from you all. I would like you all to commit to finding a way. I don't want us to retract into I'm alone, I'm invisible, or I'm not good enough. So stand in your power. I want you to use creativity and resourcefulness and using your whole body to do this, and having that curiosity of, I wonder what would be a new way of doing this, right? Map to clarity and unshakable confidence. This is the map today that we're going to go through. Ready? We're going to solidify your vision on your business, what success looks like, what makes you different, every one of you in this room. The right fit client. How many people want the right fit client and they're tired of clients that don't fit your needs? Growth edges that are critical to embrace success. Creating this prosperous, purposeful business. Clarity about your vision and your role. This is super important. The more clear you are, the more your clients understand who you are. It's so important. Clarity about what makes you different, and we'll get into these slides a little bit deeper, right? What is your presence, your ability, your genius, your gifts, right? Clarity on the right fit client, woo, right? We want somebody that's a pleasure to serve and doesn't drain us, or that we give away the farm just to get that one client that we spend 20 hours on, and with a right fit client, it's 5 minutes, right? Value and recognize what you offer, and they can afford to work with you. How many of us charge what we're worth? Huh? Few of you? Good. I'd like to see those hands. I'd like to see everybody's hands. Clarity about the problems you solve. The urgent, unmet needs you're uniquely positioned to fill. Do you hear that? Urgent, unmet needs. Very, very, very important. Clarify your vision. Who are you? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you an inventor? Are you part of a support team? Really, who are you? And stand in that. Prosperity. How much money do you want to make? Do you know that we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and grossly underestimate what we can do in 3 years? So if you say, oh, I want to make $1 million this year, and then in 3 years I'll make 1.2. Do you see the difference on that? So really thinking about how much money do you want to make? And then what about time? What are you willing to give up? Do you want your business to be 10 million and do you want to spend 80 hours in your work? Or do you want your business to be 1 million and have time with your family? Describe what you want to create. These are really good questions. What do you deeply yearn for? What's the bigger possibility for you? What would it mean for you, your family, your clients? Feel into that potential. And then what's your big why? Why do you want to do this? And why is it important? When I first started Mountain Maids, it was because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did. I'm like, I don't care what business, give me anything, I'll do it. I can do anything. What I really understood after about a year in the business is my why is to empower my employees. It has nothing to do with money, nothing to do with clients, nothing to do with being an entrepreneur. It is about leadership and driving that. And that is my big why, and that is why my clients find me to service their homes, because they know my big why. What makes you different? So I really want you to think about this, and try not to attract that I'm invisible or I'm not good enough when you're going through this. So think about your personal life experiences, both professional and personally. Everyone in here has a different professional experience. Even if you all went to the same school and sat next to each other, you'd still be different, right? What is your key professional expertise? List your certifications, degrees, and professional experience. So many times when we give a bio, we don't tell anybody about us, right? I pick up brochures all the time. I love them. They don't even say who the owner is. Some of the brochures don't even have a phone number. It's interesting to me, really listing your certifications, degrees, and experience, because why? If you are working for, let's say you're providing a service where you're coming into my home to provide a service for me, I want to know your degree and your professional experience, right? So make sure that's listed. What are the unique life experiences you've had that give you insight? Have you traveled the world? Have you ever eaten chocolate-covered bugs? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's really different than somebody else next to you, right? What can you see that differentiates you and your unique abilities and gifts from others? This differentiates you from your competitor. Okay, we've got these beautiful ladies, right? All 3 actresses. Let's say that they all are starring in the movie Superwoman. Every one of them. They're all 3 brilliant actresses. They have the same cast, the same support, everything, right? Is Anne going to do it differently than Emma and differently than Sandra? Are you going to want to go see each one of them, even though it's the same story? Absolutely. All of us are so unique, and we're constantly looking to the outside world to say, well, she's doing it better, or she does it this way, or he does it this way, or my business doesn't do this. But what we're missing, that gap we're missing, is who we are. So finding your right fit client, okay? So I want all of you to take a second and really think about that client that you love. Right? You can't wait for that client to walk through your door. You can't wait to talk to that client. You would do anything to work with that client, right? So your magnetic offer, it creates a huge value for your best fit client. What is your offer? And why does that best fit client buy from you? What is it? And don't say everybody, because I did that, right? Oh, I'm going to clean for everybody. I don't clean for everybody anymore. Right? My offerings on my cleaning business is very small. I used to clean for everybody. Communicates clear and tangible outcomes, evokes emotion of feeling and relief and excitement. Can you imagine walking into Amber's store at Apricot Lane, and Amber's there, and you're like, oh, I'm going to my daughter's wedding and I need to look beautiful, and she is there and she's like, I know exactly what would work for you, Molly. Here's these 3 dresses, try them on. And she looks at me and she says, you look stunning. Did she just create the solution to my problem? That emotion in me, right? It's really important for when our clients, they have that emotion of excitement. They may even cry. Like, this is the answer to my prayers. Those in financial services, those in property management. You're the answer to my prayers. What are the most urgent and immediate problems of your ideal client? When you write them down, you'll get really clear on your marketing. If you know their urgent problems, what are you saying to those clients, right? Which of your ideal clients' most urgent problems are you able to solve? We cannot solve flying to the moon, me, but I can sure tell you how to break free of your inner barriers so that you get on that spaceship and fly to the moon, right? So what is it? Really honing in. These are questions to sit with and to write and to really think about your ideal client, and then write all the things that you provide that ideal client. 4 ways to stay ahead of your competition. Businesses only go under 19% of the time because of competition. All of us think it's like 99%, the competition's beating me, only 19%. A winning suite of offers, really, really important. If you are offering clients something like I did in Mountain Maids, I offered 3 packages. Before it was just 1, right? And then it's like yes or no. Now I offer 3, and why I offer 3 is because there's a basic, a mid-level, and a super premium. And how many super premiums do I get? A lot. How many basics do I get? A few. And how many in the middle? The most, right? Where before I was only selling that basic package. I was really missing that suite of offers. So looking at your offerings, looking at what you can do, how can you up level, what's out there. Real estate agents, I feel your pain, all those are in here. Commissions and what's going on and how are you presenting yourself to your clients. You want a 1% commission, this is it. You want a 3% commission, this is what I can offer you. You want to pay me 10%? I'm going to give you the world. What can you do to up level your clients so that they have that winning suite of offers? Outreach strategy, marketing. How many of you found this luncheon presentation from an email? Yep. How many of you saw it on social media? A few? Less? Email marketing is key. Don't forget to get emails from your clients because you can market to them all kinds of offerings, all kinds of things. Social media is much more challenging to find, right? Even though it's a game changer, it levels the field, it's a lot of work. You put Facebook ads out there, it's super expensive, and how many people see it? You send out an email to all of your client base, it's a big difference. Enrollment structures, easy as signing up and purchasing. If it's challenging for me to work with you, I'm going down the street. How easy is it for me? So one thing with Mountain Maids, just to go into that, it used to be that I'd go out, I'd walk your home, I'd talk to you, it'd be like 4 hours, and I'd go home and I'd write up a proposal, I'd send it to you, and then you'd say, not interested, right? And I spent all this time and energy and work to sit with you. Now it's all over the phone. I talk to you about your needs and desires, I send you a proposal, and you send back whether you want our services or not. It's super fast, right? Get rid of the red tape. Deliver extraordinary results. Clients will pay for extraordinary results, right? How many of you will pay for mediocre results? How many of you? I'd like to see your hands. No one? No one? Hello? Yep. You really want to pay for extraordinary results. Tess over here is such a dear. She's such a love. She let me sit with her for about 20 minutes and we went through this really quickly. Didn't know Tess, drew her name like I did in one of these luncheons, and she and I spoke. And she has an amazing business. She is such a caring, dear person. She wants so much for her clients. She is willing to go above and beyond to make sure her clients are taken care of and the family is taken care of. And because she's so caring and giving, she's one of the only ones that will come into your home and work with your family, right? But what is this costing her? So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, she's traveling from Livingston to Three Forks, which is 123 miles away. She's spending 3 hours of travel. Cost of doing business with this client is $73 wear and tear on her vehicle, not including gas. And it is costing her a potential of $600 worth of time towards clients or other things, right? On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you want to get this? This is crazy. Ready? Tess, I know. We all feel your pain on this, honey. So we travel from Livingston to Three Forks, and then Three Forks to Gardner, and then Gardner to Livingston. All the way around, it's $167 wear and tear, plus $1,100 of potential lost income for Tess. So what does this cost on her vehicle every week? $553 of wear and tear, not including gas. 20 hours of driving, right? Or $4,000 potential income per day, right? Potential cost of doing business is $4,500 a week. If she does 52 weeks a year, which I'm sure she does, it's probably costing her around $236,000 by doing this, right? Not to mention loss of personal time, family time, exhaustion, inability to add additional clients, right? But gosh, she wants to give to her clients, and she wants to give to this service. Do you see why sometimes businesses fail? And why it's so hard? And why we give and we're running around and we're providing so much because we care, we deeply, deeply care. And Tess, thank you. Because this is a case study that so many women have. And it's very normal to not see all these things because you're giving to your clients in such a way that nobody else could give. But the opportunities here. She could rent and have a clinic-based space for $350 a month, right? She can take on additional clients. She can hire remote supervisors in those areas, and then she could have a teleservice, right, to make sure those people servicing are doing what they're supposed to do. She's able to create programs for clients, administrative tasks, networking and billing. I can't imagine when you have time to bill. And time for self-care and with family. And this is something that so many of us do, and we cannot see the forest through the trees. Marrying the wrong person, hey, or having the wrong person in your ear. None of us have done that, right? So 42% fail because we offer products and services that don't bring anything useful. I want to expand on that. I think 42% of us fail because we don't differentiate who we are. We don't use our superpowers to tell people who we are. We're too successful too fast. And we talked about competition. 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow. That's a big one. If you're not billing clients or you're hiring somebody to bill clients, you're losing that money because you're sending it out of house. Not having the right systems in place, doing business as usual instead of analyzing every part of your business. 23% of small businesses fail because they don't have the right team. That is huge. We talk about hiring and leadership. That is a big one. Believing the story that you're alone, invisible, and not good enough from this place of lack and fear, it's a constant loop of feeling you cannot reach your highest potential. I dislike systems. I don't know who likes systems, but probably a lot of people out there might. Yay, I'm glad somebody does. Yay, I can't stand them. Anyway, it's directly tied to creating momentum, maintaining momentum, and advancing momentum, right? So almost half of small businesses will fail in 5 years, and most of it's due to systems. 86% of owners will earn less than $100,000, right? 40% of businesses are profitable, which means 60% aren't profitable. 9% of businesses make more than 1 million. In franchises, the reason why they're different is because 95% of franchises survive 5 years or more, 60% or more are profitable, significant numbers make over 100K and their businesses do over 1 million. And it's all because of systems. This is a phenomenal book. It is called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. If you don't have this book, buy it, color in it. It's amazing. It talks about systems and how to systemize everything in your business. So we have the speed of business. We have functioning speed, which is where you're bogged down. Anybody in the first year of business is usually in the functioning speed. It's where you're creating manuals and safety manuals and systems. It's where you're working 60 hours a week in it. It's where you have slow momentum. You have employee turnover. It's really, really painful. You get up into processing speed, and then you're looking at how quick can you go from A to Z. How quick, let's take a realtor, how quick can you get a client, show them properties, get the contract written, and get everybody to sign it? Is there a way to shorten that process to get things moving quicker so that you're working with more clients, right? Expansion speed is how quickly you can expand. So like for me in Mountain Maids, I have company vehicles. I wanted to max out every one of my vehicles before I purchased another one, right? How many bodies can I fit in a vehicle, and how much equipment can I fit in that vehicle? Expansion speed, if you go too fast and you're too thin and you don't have the people, you usually don't make it. Or you have a lot of bumps like I did throughout my processes. Leadership development, the right people is success. And the right people can be you, investing in yourself. So constant improvement, the right coach, read the right books, know when to run incentives, right? Challenging your teams and when to show the love. So we have doers, actors, and 1%ers. Doers feel isolated. They're in this painful process. They might say, I'm not good at running a business. I give and I give and I give to my clients and my employees, and it's never enough. This is a really painful stage. Then you can move into actors, and actors will act upon strategies, and they tend to backslide, struggle with forward momentum. They feel like an imposter, but other people outside think that they're doing really well. And their business has linear growth, and we'll get into that. Linear growth is about 6 to 12%. The missing gaps is missing the right method and approach, lack of a clear path, and a feel that there is a lack of support. The 1%ers, they strive for self-actualization. There's a possibility for growth. They tend to find ease in their business more often. They know how to course correct. They don't make shame-based meanings, and they usually talk about being perfectly imperfect and course correcting in real time and not putting that shame onto themselves. So up-leveling your business, if you're in the operating systems and you're adding business development, relationships, and sales, you're into linear growth. Linear growth is great, 6 to 12%. There is nothing wrong of growing 6 to 12% every year. You want to jump into that exponential growth where you're having leaps. You really need to know your next moves as far as your business, constantly evaluating. Am I going to run 7 days a week? Am I going to service these clients? How am I going to work? Innovation, continue on innovation and campaigning and leadership development. So if you guys have the right story, right? The right story about who you are and who your business is, the right team, the right information, the right strategy, you have exponential growth. Support I need. These came from you all again, talking about how to grow your business, encouragement, validation, working to find focused direction for myself, how to be present when you're just so exhausted, how to be ultra productive and turn off the noise. This is really, really important. These are things that I hear over and over from women in business. What can I do and what's the support that I need in finding that direction? Why traditional business coaching doesn't work. After I spent $20,000, I can tell you why. Ready? If you are struggling with self-confidence, imposter syndrome, self-sabotaging, resilience, backsliding, overwhelm, and lack of follow-through, they don't know what you're talking about. They look at you and just say, oh, we'll run your numbers, or get more clients, or reduce expenses. So the benefits, right, of a traditional coach is to look at those things, having the employee handbook, having the systems, doing all of those things. But you are struggling with any of the self-confidence, and if we're really honest and really deeply sitting with it, it's really hard to look inside and be visible when you feel invisible, to ask for help when you are feeling alone, and when you don't feel like you're good enough, how to break free of that. Doing return on investment on your marketing strategy is not going to do it. It's not going to help you to become visible. Women-centered coaching is so powerful because it's really stepping into that. Who you are, your vision, what do you want, how to create it, how to stop backsliding, how to step into visibility. And so what I offer from this is that I offer a combination of both. I believe in the masculine and the feminine coming together so that you have a holistic approach to your business. It's super important to understand all the linear growth, and it's super important to self-actualize. And going for exponential growth and a field of wholeness. I am offering a 3-hour workshop. I wanted to shove 3 hours into an hour. I've almost done it. But really getting into these things. I am offering a 3-hour workshop on May 8th from 11 to 2. If you really want to get into these things and really look at it, it's going to be individualized. You're going to have a workbook. You'd be able to go through it and find out the gaps, find out what's holding you back from your exponential growth. This is really powerful for those who have gone through my small group coaching. It is exponential growth. We stand as power partners. We don't whine. We'll drink wine, but we won't whine and complain and talk about all the things we don't have. What we do is we shift into who we are, the clients we're meant to serve, who's our right fit client, what gaps do we have, what are we not seeing. And I'm doing this for $100 for BPW because I believe in you women. All of you came here today, all of you want to rise. I usually charge $300 for it, or just under. But anyway, it's really, really a passion of mine, and I want to give to all of you to step into who you want to be. Great, thank you.